Hey, welcome back to iAllegedly. I'm Dan, and I've got a good one for you today because we got like 6 warnings and some good news and just craziness all over the place, but it affects each and every one of us. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. And today we have a sponsor, Patriot Gold Group, which is good timing. First things first, guys, gold just hit an all-time high yesterday. Absolutely crazy. And we're seeing gold do miraculous things, and with all these different warnings about how bad the economy is. Thank you, sir, for that. I really appreciate it. With all these different warnings. Um, this guy's great dog. We're seeing that the economy has challenges. Mark Zandi is an economist who successfully called the 2008 debacle, has said, listen, we have a real problem. Now, Mark Zandi is the economist for Moody's, the rating agency. And if you don't know what that is, a lot of us got familiar with it through the movie The Big Short. But he's saying, listen, I don't think we're in a recession yet, but man, we got ominous signs. You've got problems in manufacturing, you've got the tariff situation, you've got problems with jobs, people getting laid off, companies not having the profits, and things starting to fall in a big, big way. Now, is this going to be the end of it? Are we going to see finally a recession? Man, I'm telling you guys, when you hear that Vegas is off for almost 9 months straight, when you hear that travel was off, when you hear that the real estate market, this was one of the worst real estate, years ever for the number of houses sold. Oh, Dan, it's just, but prices are still sky high. Go buy a house, guys. Not all of us can do that, you know? So the idea with this, that it's all okay and it's all no big deal, is something that you have to look at. I'm telling you this right now. I just left my accountant's office. And it's funny. He said, Dan, the way you live your life, of how you trim and get rid of everything, is such solid advice. And I'm telling more and more of my clients that they have to do this and look at this way of living, because we're going through times that are not, they're very uncertain right now, to say the least. So with that being said, the best thing that you can do is not make any big purchases that you don't need to make. Don't finance everything. Don't assume that things are going to be okay. Go out and work through it. Now, again, we're starting a new social media company. There's a lot of things that we're doing. And you can sit and say, oh, it's the wrong time. We've worked on this for years, guys. We've worked on this for years. Budgeted it, got it laid out, got advertisers ready, got everything to move forward with this thing. Now, because we know what the timing is, we're not going to do advertising. We're not going to piss money away on major outlets to advertise the site. So it's what we're doing. And the accountant loved the plan, I'll tell you that. So that's interesting. Our bond market and T-bills are very precarious right now, and I keep getting people sending things to me. But Treasury bills are going up, thinking that we may have to refund tariff money right now. Now, personally, I don't think it's going to get to that point. I don't think so. I think that these rogue judges that are saying things are illegal and not allowing, federal, support in different states, I think that this is all just, political shenanigans between these judges, by these judges. And, it's terrible. It's absolutely nuts, guys, that we have to live this way and have, our government ran by judges right now. And now I know there's people out there that love this stuff and think it's the greatest thing ever, but you gotta sit there and make the decision on, what you think about it. So many companies right now are having trouble. Elliott Management is a investment firm. A man named Paul Singer runs the place. He wants to support Pepsi-Cola. Pepsi, why? Well, because Pepsi's down in the dumps, and one of the biggest investors is Paul Singer into Pepsi. So what did this guy do? He doubled down. He put another $4 billion into Pepsi right now to build up the brand, but he's only going to do it with one thing. Pepsi and Coke, all these companies have gone on buying sprees, And the one that got clobbered during this time that most people don't really realize is Pepsi. Pepsi's now the number 4 soda. Number 4 soda. Coke is first, Dr. Pepper second, Sprite is third, and Pepsi is 4. Now think about this. Coke owns Dr. Pepper. Coke owns Sprite. Coke is killing them right now. So what they want to do, and what he said, I will give you guys the $4 billion if you guys go out and you get rid of these bad brands. I mean, here's the thing. The chips and the potato chips and the fluffy corn pops and all the stuff that these people buy, people are not spending money on crap and non-essentials right now. They're not doing it right now. So much so that it's affecting a totally different sector of the market. Now, we could sit there and I could quiz you and say, name 5 things Pepsi own. You probably couldn't say it, but they own, dozens and dozens of brands that are commonplace. They're having problems. Heinz, the condiment company, is splitting off into 2 right now to make themselves more profitable. No, it's because they're losing money in certain things. And again, when was the last time you bought Heinz 57 sauce? Forever ago. Forever ago. Point is that these companies are not making as much money as before because people are trying to save money in everything that they purchase right now. They are not going out and they are not pissing away money that they don't need. Now, the next thing is Modelo beer. Modelo and Corona are in a sales slump right now. How is that? Remember when Bud Light shot themselves in the foot? Modelo was the number 1 beer in America. Well, immigrants are not buying Modelo anymore. Wait a second. Immigrants weren't buying Modelo. It was all of us that didn't want to support Bud Light. I'm telling you guys, 2 years ago, going to Anaheim Stadium, there were Bud Light stands where men would stand there and question people's veracity and ask them questions. Hey, you going to buy that beer? What's your story? You married? You like women? Think I'm kidding. Well, yeah. Okay, well, you going to drink Bud Light? I mean, they would harass people. So Modelo took off with sales. Now Modelo and Corona are both suffering. And what they're saying is people can't afford more expensive beers. Nonsense. It's nonsense. People are not buying anything extracurricular right now. They're not buying Pepsi. They're not buying the chips and the fluffy puff, crappy, white cheddar cheese, popcorn chips. They're not buying that stuff right now, guys. And they're not buying Modelo and Corona. And it makes no difference on somebody's race. But again, where are we headed? Where are we headed? And I think where we're headed is we're going to have a problem. But if you know this, you're going to be fine during this time. Trim your expenses. Sell everything that you don't need right now while people still have money. I'm telling you this right now. I'm doing this big program on used cars right now. And it's crazy how bad this is going to get. Let's talk about our sponsor, Patriot Gold Group. Like I said earlier, gold has hit an all-time high. And that's just the beginning. When you look at JP Morgan and you look at other experts that have predicted that gold is going to go to $4,000 an ounce, that's a huge win. Guys, contact Patriot Gold Group today, 888-330-1431. If you don't want to call, use the link below. Fill it out. They will send out an investor guide. They will answer all your questions. They are number 1 rated with Consumer Affairs for 9 years in a row. Over 10,000 transactions. They've done well over $1 billion in sales. And they're the best. They're just an absolutely amazing company. They sell all types of precious metals. Silver is taken off through the roof right now. You do not want to miss out on this. It's doubled in the last 2 years, guys. Come on. Take a look at this. 888-330-1431. Let them know that Dan from iAllegedly sent you. Contact Patriot Gold now before it's too late. Number 1 rated for a very good reason. I want to thank Dr. Marvin for this one because this is solid gold. We hear so much about insurance companies, just like, God, I wish they would just get theirs. I wish they would pay for the harm they've done. I told you guys a story about the guy that bought a new house and they wanted to inspect it and wouldn't tell them who was coming out to his house to take photos and what the photos were going to be used for. Well, here's 3 insurance companies in Florida that just got fined, but listen to this because it's crap. Type Type Tab. They were fined $150,000 for failure to acknowledge Hurricane Ian claims, failed to provide disclosure provisions to people. Okay, and then Sutton National fined 50 grand using adjusters that weren't qualified. In other words, hiring some Tom, Dick, or Harry off the street to go to people's houses. Roof looks good to me. A couple of shingles are gone. Yeah, well, yeah, we think it's leaking. Nah, I don't see that. Yeah, idiots they hired. Okay, you can read the story below. Okay, and then American Coastal, they got fined 400 grand, which is beautiful because the problem with these people is they do stuff and they just keep going along, and no one's going to catch us. No one's going to say anything. We're in charge. We want to raise your rates. American Coastal, using adjusters who weren't properly appointed, failure to acknowledge Hurricane Ian claims. God, just failure to include name and license number in the communication of the claim, failure to pay claims and deny claims in a timely manner. So stringing people along, isn't that great? Don't you love hearing stuff like that? I mean, that is awful. The problem with these insurance companies is all they want to do is take advantage of us, and we're seeing it more and more and more. Are you guys seeing that? I mean, tell me one person that goes, oh, my insurance company's fantastic. Tell me one. I'm going to end this video with these last few things. Do not forget that we have a private channel called iAllegedly Live. I love doing the content on that. It is absolutely fantastic. It's uncensored. We can talk about everything. Check it out today. Use the link below or go to iAllegedly.tv, put that in your browser, and you can sign up. You can go to the Apple Store, Amazon, Roku, all those cool places. We're there. Laura from Connecticut sent me something that is unbelievable. We've all stayed in very small hotel rooms in our lifetime. They converted in Connecticut, because there's a housing shortage, they let this builder convert an old hotel, motel, whatever you want to call it. They're $1,395 for a room for the month. Okay, and you can sit there and say that's a deal. The only problem with it is that the minimum wage there is $16.35. If you work 40 hours a week, she says, Dan, it's $1,880. What do you not eat? Do you not pay a phone bill? Oh gosh, you don't go out at all. Clearly, guys, life is expensive right now. It is absolutely out of control. How bad it is. There is 2 things. There is a class being taught in New York City on theft, how to steal. And I'm not making this up. It'll be the second to the last story below. And you can sit there and go, that's insane, Dan. It is insane. But the problem with it is that the crazy thing about this is it's the difference between private property and public good. Well, everybody who steals, listen, I need it more than you do. That's why I stole your car. That's why I stole the food from the restaurant. I am telling you guys, you cannot justify this. I have had more friends tell me how broke they were in their lifetimes. I had a friend last night tell me a story, who's a lawyer now, by the way, who's incredibly successful, but she said, Dan, there was a time when I couldn't afford to eat. I mean, Top Ramen, yeah, I'd divide it in 2. That's how broke I was. But a friend, hey, we're having a destination wedding in Hawaii. And she's like, God, I can't do it. Well, she ended up getting there because she's resourceful, mom's timeshare, mom's points, and got to go there, but couldn't afford, she had no business being there because she couldn't afford it. That's the problem with this. So public good, she should have stowed away on the plane and stole food and, ripped off the hotel. No, guys, but they're teaching people this now. And again, only in New York City could you see a class like this. It's nuts, guys. It's nuts. Now, final story, and this is terrible because the one thing that blew me away years ago was how people take advantage of people and steal at inopportune times. There was a wedding here in Southern California over the weekend. I want to get these poor people's name right because it's awful. And Now, final story. There was a wedding over the weekend here in Southern California in Glendale. George and Nadine Farahat got married at the Renaissance Banquet Center. I've never been there. I've driven by it. It is nice. It's really nice. Only problem was they were dancing. Everybody was having a good time, food, parties, festivities. And some clown came in on the security camera and stole $100,000 worth of cash and gifts, took the box, and just walked out the door with it. Now, I'm pissed at, the moms. I'm pissed at the family members. You don't have somebody watching this stuff. Oh, they're all our friends. What are you talking about, Dan? There were hundreds of people there, and nobody was responsible to watch the gifts. So the bride was left sobbing on the floor because everything's gone. And they have an image of some person, nobody knew him, and just walked in there. But again, Wedding Crashers from 2005 was a funny movie where people would just go and crash weddings. After that happened, I had more friends come up to me and say, oh man, when I was in college and I was broke, I would go to weddings and eat, meet all these single women, and you'd sit on the side that had less people. It was their key, and they would just take advantage of the food. Now, none of them ripped off the bride and groom, but this is terrible. The thing about this that blew me away, that absolutely floored me, was, think about this. My friend's dad died in 1995. My, really good friend, his wife's stepdad was a retired police captain. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's nice. Nice to meet you. He was a really good guy. He says, listen, I've called the police to have them patrol the house during the ceremony, during the memorial. And I'm like, really? Why? He says, oh, they put the address in the paper. So everybody knows the house is going to be empty. And I never thought about that. Well, guess what? People drove by the house, and the cops were like, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm looking for a friend, blah, 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 get out of here. So people that are criminals are opportunistic. Isn't that terrible? I mean, there is a place in frickin' hell for these people. But imagine someone died, and you are sitting there, and you're going to take advantage of that. Isn't that wild? Isn't that terrible? You want to get a hold of me, hello@iallegedly.com. I love your comments. I love everything. Send them out today, and I will see you very soon. It's windy. Can you tell? Look at my hair.